Yeah, so pulling and pushing are both dynamics of energy, dynamics of frequencies that are in the relationship, that whatever it is you're pulling from or pushing against, that it affects other. It affects other. Obviously, you know, if you're pulling on other, that other can either will be, you know, completely stable in themselves and it doesn't matter. That would be good, but or it could cause them to go off balance, or they could come into some kind of well, I was about to say an enslavement relationship that doesn't. Enslavement means it's stuck and you have no choice. You could willingly go into someone's pull, and actually, if you take responsibility, then you are doing it willingly. You may not understand how it works, the particular pull dynamic. What are the angles? What are the arcs? What are the dynamics that need to be gone through in order to maintain the relationship? We do all kinds of things in order to maintain relationships because of all kinds of distortions that we hold in our consciousness. And, you know, part of our growing up is our maturing is being able to let go of many of the distortions and allow ourselves to be supported by something that is from a different scale. I mean, growing up is actually, this is why it's an initiation, is because you're coming into a relationship with a whole different scale of being. It's a whole different scale of consciousness and support and reality that you can be in relationship with, instead of being in old patterns of relationship that were less healthy. You take responsibility. This is what maturity is. You take responsibility and for what you're creating. And what, you know, the big piece, I mean, you know, what you're creating actually goes out into action too. But, you know, to be able to really come into conscious awareness of your own, how you are in relationship. What is your relationship? Are you pulling? Are you pushing? Are you projecting? Do you think you know what it is? Or are you open to unknowns? Are you maintaining your own center? Are you receiving with interest, with genuinely open interest, which used to be my non-sentimental definition of love. I had to come up with a non-sentimental definition of love. And by looking at what the dynamics are, this was a long time ago, I came up with this phrase, it's genuine open interest. I think there's another dynamic, there are probably many more dynamics that could be plugged in there that are also love, but that was the piece that like was fundamental, that it's respectful and nourishing actually is, you know, the other portal, the anchors that hold the portal open between the static and the ecstatic. Yeah, so how to have your relationships to be nourishing and respectful, and that you do not lose your own center, and you are nourishing and respecting yourself and listening to greater levels of harmonic coherence, greater levels of balance and support, which is, if you are in your own center and you know, you can maneuver from center really, really well. You know, the best dancers that we see, you know, they don't fall because they know where center is, you know, and they can totally swing out. And yet, you know, they come back to center. That's what's so thrilling to watch. Yeah, so how do we have relationships where we don't lose ourselves, where we can have an interesting dynamic with another that ends up leaving you feeling strengthened and more relaxed, and your heart more open, and like more interested and more alert and more receptive, and simultaneously able to not pull, to know that you are there healthy, and not needing in a parasitic way to where you have to have certain dynamics of relationship in order for you to maintain yourself. I'm not saying all dynamics of relationship are, in a sense, they're worthy of exploration, but all dynamics of relation. The universe is interested in all dynamics of relationship, but it also is interested in really expanding, and we're the active force for that expansion. We're the growing edge. Every seed of consciousness is the growing edge of for the universe to perceive and expand and see what's next. So the ones that we identify as negative, ones that don't feel good, ones that leave anything off balance and unable to feel itself in relationship with the divine, with nature, with love. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to maintain its form in its particular way. In fact, our form is always changing. Everything is always changing. It's the stuff that we think is stable. It's emitting, it's emitting electron. It's changing. Its reception of light. It's changing. Its organization of its atomic structure is it's in relationship to everything, and everything is changing. So how do we have a relationship that what is it that's unchanging? What and that the unchanging piece can witness everything that's changing. Again, okay, we can come back to the masculine and feminine. In a way, the feminine is everything that's in move. It's the dynamic of reality that's in relationship to everything. That's the feminine. And the masculine is the witness. The masculine is the unchanging center that is the point, the seat of consciousness within every coherent field. We've been given this, we took on this contract to have these embodiments. And it's quite a relationship. This is a very dynamic, very changeable, very malleable, very, very responsive vehicle that we're riding in. It's an utter experience of a creation from a loving nature that we can ride in and have interactive relationship with this reality, with creation from here. There may be many, many other kinds of creation. I don't know. I'm doing this one here at the moment. This is my contract. So let's do this. Let's do this one. I want to do it well. I really would like to be. I can see so much potential with this, and in fact, it shows so much potential. There is so much magnificent creation that has gone on. Even the creation that we've done is so massively creative, and imaginative, and what we've done to make society. And if you consider over time and over the planet and all the different ways that things have been cultured, and it's really, really remarkable what humans can do, even humans. And to say nothing of the relationships of all the different creatures and all the different plants and, forests and deserts and, all the different kinds of culture. Not just human, but, we're not separate from that. We're part of it. And there can be an incredibly beautiful, loving relationship, because our capacity is to be able to go way far. There's something in this coherent organization of consciousness that is actually has the capacity to be conscious of so much more, of opening to so many more resonances of frequencies that can organize what this is and what this is capable of and what our relationship is with this creation. It's like, it's mine. It's, I mean, we can't define it. It goes so far. So better not to, because if we defined it, we've concretized it, we've actually limited it, because it can always be more. It's always changing. Universe is frothing open with more and more unknown. That's, actually this is really good news, because this means that any enslavement program just cannot happen. It can't succeed. It can't succeed. It will only go so far, because it's a limitation on what's actually possible. And that's not what's wanted. It's not what's possible. And I know that I'm a vector for wanting something else. So I'm taking responsibility to, make sure that gets, not shut down. If I'm here holding it, it's here on the planet. Because it's right here, I can recognize that here. Keep yourself, honor yourself as a creative point of consciousness. And let yourself have relationship with the unknown. This is just, they call this a schoolroom. Really good way to look at it. Here we are trying to learn how do I not disrespect? How do I not take things off balance? In order to, you have to be sensitive to how things feel. Not just in yourself, but actually let yourself resonate with how other out there may be feeling. A lot of that will be harmonic, where actually those feeling fields are frequencies that are felt, that you resonate with. That's in relationship, is actually letting yourself feel the harmonics of feeling. That's a field. Great, it's in the code there. The field is a feeling field. It's a field of frequency, or it's all these things. These are actually shapes of the way that you are relating to someone else. These are frequencies in your feeling field that you can be perceptive to, and that's part of the training. That's part of the consciousness training, is to actually allow yourself to open up your sensitivity to other, and then be also sensitive to yourself. How are you responding? This is actually a very big piece, is to be aware of how does the field that's coming out, how does that resonate here? What is the dance that you do internally? What does it make you feel? What does it make you think? Not quite as important as what it makes you feel. What does it make you project? What does it make you believe? What does it make you want? What does it make you conceive of as possibility? And then to look at all of those things that are coming out of you and to say, is that healthy? Is that respectful? If I try that, I need to be able to see what's the response. It's like, it's all really coming back into the dojo, the life arts dojo. You have to, this is a huge life art practice to actually have relationship. It's a very big deal. I mean, consider how many times in your life, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one, and I want to just completely honor anyone who actually has this consistently in their life. But it's relatively rare for me, I have to admit, where I'm actually in relationship where I feel like, oh, this person is actually really listening to me. And I'm actually really listening to that other person. And we're like getting each other in a way that rarely happens. And is not making assumptions, and is not, but is also receiving information, and is, if assumptions arise, if thoughts or ideas arise, they're owned, and then they're checked out, and they're not imposed, but they're like offered, and to see, does this resonate or not? You have the right, other than me, I mean, you know, all other that is not me, I want to hold that you have the right, as much as I do, for being exactly who you are, how you want to be, and you also have the right to change and to not be what I think you are, and to explore life in the way that you think is appropriate. You have that right. And, you know, the mature person, the strong person, the person who actually can really maintain their own center will be able to see and go, okay, well, would I like to be engaged with that? Or would I like to maneuver elsewhere? And I have that right. I don't have to engage, and I can do something else. And that's true. I mean, the ecstatic communion actually has a lot of space in it, where people, I'll call, okay, people, fine, we're seats of consciousness, where every seat of consciousness actually has room to unfold in its most ecstatic way, in relationship, and also in relationship this way, and also in relationship this way, where, you know, there's so many levels of torus field of self, you know, you know, that are, you know, there's ones that are completely just happening here. There are torus fields that only happen within you. There is a field that is only yours. And you know, that field is also permeable and is changing. And how do we have, well, the center of it is still and not changing, but I don't know. Is it changing? Yeah, it may go really, really far down where change is happening, but it's stable. The center, the very center, is where you'd like to be most stable and interacting into the world from. That's where I would like to be most stable and interacting into the world from. It would be the most, okay, why do I want that? Because I could completely relax, and at the same time I could be completely dynamic. And to be that big with that kind of level of energy flow that would be not stuck in any single dynamic, but willingly engaged and dancing, doing this well, where the relationships really are nourished and respected. Respect has space. Nourishment is the dynamic engagement that is strengthening and healthy. Able to engage and able to let go. Both. And able to engage and flow with and feed without losing anything from here, because you are being supported. You are continually being replenished from your own vertical. And that's just with you relaxing into your own presence and being willing to receive. Opening up your sensitivity and being willing to receive. And, the mature piece of being willing to receive is the ability to take responsibility for that reception being respectful and healthy in all directions. Yeah, and that's why I say that respect and nourishment, or nourishment, those two intentions hold open the portal between the enslaved static programming and the ecstatic communion with all, which is, for me, ecstatic communion with all, that's in front of me, and the enslaved, I feel that as like, yeah, I'm stepping out of that, and this is what's coming forward. Hallelujah. Okay.